Rule 35, sound signals in restricted visibility. There's a lot going on in here. I'll read through this. We'll put it up on the board. And this is generally the last part of the rules of the road to sink in for most folks. So give yourself some time. We'll practice this, sleep on it. You'll get it going. Here we go. Page 103. Again, I'm reading on the inland side. In or near an area of restricted visibility, whether by day or night, the signals prescribed in this rule shall be used as follows. A power-driven vessel making way through the water shall sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes, one prolonged blast. A power-driven vessel underway but stopped and making no way through the water shall sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes, two prolonged blasts in succession with an interval of about 2 seconds between them. A vessel not under command, a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver, whether underway or at anchor, a sailing vessel, a vessel engaged in fishing, whether underway or at anchor, and a vessel engaged in a towing or pushing another vessel shall, instead of the signals prescribed in paragraph A or B of this rule, sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes, 3 blasts in succession, namely one prolonged followed by 2 short blasts. A vessel towed, or if more than one vessel is towed, the last vessel of the tow, if manned, shall at intervals of not more than 2 minutes sound 4 blasts in succession, namely one prolonged followed by 3 short blasts. When practicable, this signal shall be made immediately after the signal made by the towing vessel. When a pushing vessel and a vessel being pushed ahead are rigidly connected in a composite unit, they shall be regarded as a power-driven vessel and shall give the signals prescribed in paragraph A or B of this rule. Page 105. A vessel at anchor shall at intervals of not more than 1 minute ring the bell rapidly for about 5 seconds. In a vessel of 100 meters or more in length, the bell shall be sounded in the fore part of the vessel, and immediately after the ringing of the bell, the gong shall be sounded rapidly for about 5 seconds in the after part of the vessel. A vessel at anchor may in addition sound 3 blasts in succession, namely one short, one prolonged, and one short blast, to give warning of her position and of possibility of collision to an approaching vessel. A vessel aground shall give the bell signal and, if required, the gong signal prescribed in paragraph G of this rule, and shall, in addition, give 3 separate and distinct strokes on the bell immediately before and after the rapid ringing of the bell. A vessel aground may, in addition, sound an appropriate whistle signal. A vessel of 12 meters or more, but less than 20 meters in length, shall not be obliged to give the bell signals prescribed in paragraph G and H of this rule. However, if she does not, she shall make some other efficient sound signal at intervals of not more than 2 minutes. A vessel of less than 12 meters in length shall not be obliged to give the bell signals prescribed in paragraph G and H of this rule. However, if she does not, she shall make some other efficient sound signals at intervals of not more than 2 minutes. A pilot vessel, when engaged on pilotage duty, may, in addition to the signals prescribed in paragraph A, B, or G of this rule, sound an identity signal consisting of 4 short blasts. The following vessels shall not be required to sound signals as prescribed in paragraph G of this rule when anchored in a special anchorage area designated by the Coast Guard. A vessel of less than 20 meters in length and a barge, canal boat, scow, or other nondescript craft. Whoa, there's a lot there, huh? So let's break this down. When we break it down, it becomes much simpler than you might think. So we're going to start with vessels underway in restricted visibility. At 2-minute intervals, they'll sound these. And then we'll move on to vessels anchored or aground in restricted visibility. So these are vessels underway. Vessels underway in restricted visibility. There's a lot of eyes going on there. Okay, vessels underway in restricted visibility. And let's make our mnemonic rhyme. Overnight rooms for sale plus supper. This helps us lay it out because not under command, restricted fishing and sailing all say 1 prolonged and 2 short blasts. And these are all at 2 minutes. They say at not more than 2-minute intervals. Not under command, restricted fishing, sailing, 1 prolonged, 2 short. Here's a cool exception: restricted in fishing, whether underway or at anchor. We'll indicate that with our anchor here. One prolonged, two short. So restricted in fishing, whether underway or at anchor. One prolonged, two short. Power-driven vessel. If they're underway making way, one prolonged blast. We say moving. And if they're underway not making way, not moving, two prolonged blasts. Right? So here we're making way or moving, and here we're not making way or not moving. Moving, not moving. And we'll go on to say that a tug and a tow. We have a tug and a tow. The tug says one prolonged and two short blasts. And then the tow says one prolonged and three short blasts. So the tug says one prolonged and two short, immediately followed by the last man barge says one prolonged and three short blasts. And a pilot vessel may make an identity signal of four short blasts. We say a pilot. They say, in addition to these prolongs, they can make an identity signal that says four short blasts. I am your pilot. In these towing vessels, there's one more part to this. If you are pushing ahead or you are towing alongside, both of these, you'll also say one prolonged and two short. So you can see there's a lot of one prolonged, two short. Restricted, or not under command, restricted fishing, sailing, one prolonged, two short. Restricted in fishing, whether underway or at anchor, one prolonged, two short. Towing, one prolonged, two short. If you're towing astern, the last barge, if manned, says one prolonged, three short. If you're pushing ahead or towing alongside, one prolonged, two short. Power-driven vessel, underway making way, moving. Power-driven vessel, underway not making way, not moving. Pilot vessel, I am your pilot. All of these are vessels underway in restricted visibility, and these are whistle signals at not more than 2-minute intervals. Whistle signals at not more than 2 minutes. Good. So now we can go ahead and break down bells and gongs of vessels at anchor or aground in restricted visibility. So the next one's going to be vessels anchored or aground. Vessels at anchor or aground in restricted visibility. And these are going to be bells and gongs. Bells and gongs at not more than 1 minute intervals. And so we say vessels at anchor, and we have some cutoffs. So if they're less than 100 meters, they just get 5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell. If they're over 100 meters at anchor in restricted visibility, they get 5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell in the fore part of the vessel, followed by 5 seconds of rapid gonging of the gong in the after part of the vessel. Now let's look at aground. This just adds 3 distinct strokes to this. Aground. Again, aground, bells and gongs in restricted visibility. So if you're less than 100 meters, you get 3 distinct strokes of the bell, followed by 5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell, followed by 3 distinct strokes of the bell. And if you're over 100 meters aground, you get 3 distinct strokes of the bell, followed by 5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell, followed by 3 distinct strokes of the bell in the fore part of the vessel, followed by 5 seconds of rapid gonging of the gong in the after part of the vessel. And then it says, you may make a whistle signal. So this is optional, right? What signal is optional? This is a may. One short, one prolonged, one short. If you're at anchor or ground, you shall make these sounds, but you may, in addition, make a whistle signal of one short, one prolonged, one short to give warning to an approaching vessels. Yeah, see, it's not that bad once you break it down. And if you can draw these out, you're going to be doing real well, because there's a lot of questions about this, but they're all answered by the drawings we just covered. Excellent. All right, that basically wraps up the rules of the road. We're going to go on to talk about distress signals for a little bit, and then just practice, practice, practice.